Hello, everyone. This is another segment. Hello, everyone. This is another segment of news you can use. So I think we will have plenty of comments on this one. I have two areas that are really important to discuss. These are news clips that have come out, and it's really important to talk about, these areas of news. This comes from Phys.org or phys.org, so it's physics. This article was written by Jeff Grabmuir, the Ohio State University. So thank you very much, Jeff. So as you know, you can't be stealing information. So that's why I always announce the article where it came from, who wrote it, and what time. So he knows, or that person knows if he comes across it, that, his name was acknowledged and the location of the news article. And I always post the links down in the description box so you can read the complete article. So this first article we're going to discuss, which is a kind of a fun one for us, is why buses can't get wheelchair users to most areas of cities. Now, you probably could tell me why. But this article, actually, they did some research. So we're going to take a look at the research and what they found out. So imagine you could travel to only 1% of the city where you live, areas that were easily accessible to other residents. That's the situation for manual wheelchairs traveling by public buses in Columbus. A first of its kind study finds the situation for those with power wheelchairs is only slightly better. I know that's somewhat better. The study found they have access to about 25% of the areas available to the general bus ridership. So it's a little bit better, but not a whole lot. But the main problem isn't with the bus system itself. The key obstacle is with the sidewalks and other infrastructure that wheelchair users need to get from their home to bus stops and from bus stops to their final destination, researchers found. Damaged and missing sidewalks are a huge factor in making much of the city inaccessible to wheelchair users who rely on public transportation to get around, said Liu, lead author of the study and a doctoral student in geography at the Ohio State University. People with mobility disabilities need to get to and from bus stops in order to use public transportation that isn't easy to many parts of the city. And I get that. I would say also, they stated infrastructure. And sometimes the infrastructure that we need to use is an agency or an organization itself, which is not accessible. So yes, it is the bus stops. It could be missing, or it could be, in pretty bad shape where we need to get off. And true, the sidewalks are in poor condition, especially the farther north you go. Well, Arizona has this problem too. With extreme temperatures, sidewalks pop and they crack and they are uneven a lot of times. And the businesses in front of those sidewalks who are aware, could call the city and say, hey, can you help us out with the sidewalk that just popped or just raised up? And we don't want anybody tripping or hurting themselves. So yes, the sidewalks in my city and probably in yours are in very bad shape. And possibly because of age, or they were never built, or it's an old sidewalk, or because of our extreme temperatures, sidewalks just do not last. and are in constant need of repair. So I don't know about your city, but in my city, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our sidewalks don't last because we have extreme temperatures, water seeps in between the sidewalk blocks, and then it freezes, it cracks the sidewalk or raises it up or makes it sink and when it thaws. So that is a big problem for the city to keep up with that. So the study published recently in the journal Transport Geography is significant because it is one of the first studies to obtain high-resolution, real-time data on the usage of buses by people with and without disabilities and compare it with data on infrastructure such as sidewalks. So they're really focused on sidewalks, but there is a little bit more to it. You know, I'm sure we could talk until the cows come home in terms of why we don't take such and such a line, or why we can't get to the train depot, or, we've never been, back to the article, it says we've never been able to do an analysis like this before. The data simply did not exist until recently, said study co-author Harvey Miller, professor of geography at Ohio State and director of the university's Center for Urban and Regional Analysis. If you didn't know that existed, it does. Let me read that one again. Center for Urban and Regional Analysis. I think they study, infrastructures, neighborhoods versus city areas versus a downtown area, how to and what is the best way to organize certain blocks and areas of, not only roads, but housing versus gas stations versus commerce. So like malls and things like that. So I think what that is what this particular department does. It allows us to get new insights into how public transportation operates in our cities and the social equity challenges we are facing. So, no kidding. So, they could have asked us a long time ago, and I guess the bus systems in our different cities have held meetings, in-person meetings and Zoom meetings, and we have voiced our pain in not being able to get from point A to point B. Just a good example for me, I was going to the bus, I had to get to a meeting, and the bus was kind of like the best way at that moment, and I got stuck in the snow because the person taking care of that sidewalk, it was just leaving big streaks of snow along its way. I'm sure they wanted to get done with it and go on to the next person, but I got stuck in one of those big streaks of snow across the sidewalk and in my wheelchair. And of course, there's nobody around. There's nobody to help me. And I really had to push on my wheelchair back and forth to get unstuck. And I'm in a power wheelchair, so you can imagine what that caused. So public transit is not emphasized in many American cities, and many cities have a problem with providing sidewalks. Yes, we could have told you that too. The study area in Franklin County, where Columbus is located, Franklin County is home to 1.3 million people, including about 64,000 who have mobility disabilities. The researchers focus on the Central Ohio Transit Authority bus system, which serves about 50,000 people daily. So imagine that. Yes, so the researchers had access to real-time data on bus operations between 2018 and 2021, including a number of riders and every time a bus deployed equipment to operate a wheelchair. To deploy equipment to accommodate a wheelchair. So I'm glad they did this study. I think this emphasizes the crucial need for us to keep on speaking out for our needs in our city. Anytime we can write the mayor, anytime we can write a governor, or call them and email them. A lot of them have emails now. So we do have access to our politicians and leaders to express our needs and our frustrations. For me to get on a bus and get out, I always have to deal with obstacles like all of you. Either getting off the sidewalk because somebody's chatting, or getting off the sidewalk because it's cracked, or getting off the sidewalk because it's just raised from this past winter and it needs to be fixed. So, it's just our daily life. And if the city put more money into maintaining these sidewalks, well, who knows how much better it would be. They found that 75% fewer bus stops could get people with manual wheelchairs to specified points within 30 minutes compared to non-disabled users. Power wheelchair users had 59% fewer stops. So yeah, that's a big number. That's a big number. So let's pay attention to that. We do have a responsibility in terms of speaking up as best we can to our public servants. So moving on to northjersey.com, this was an article. This is really, really a good article. This was written by, Gene Myers from northjersey.com. And of course, I'll leave the link down below. So this is about left behind in school evacuations. Students with disabilities demand more protection in New Jersey. So this could be applied to any one of us in any building we're in, so not just schools. There is a video where a person with disabilities speaks about his experiences when he was in school and what the instructions were for him. And they were awful. So, well, let me read a few paragraphs and then I'll leave the link and you can read the rest and look at the video, because it's awesome. With mass shootings on the rise nationwide, local and school officials are confronting a unique challenge for one of their most vulnerable populations: how to ensure the safety of students with disabilities. In New Jersey, that has prompted new legislation ordering districts to take the needs of students into account amid tales of children left at the top of staircase or told to hide on their own. On their own. When I was in school, my evacuation plan was to wheel myself into the ladies' bathroom, pull into the handicapped stall, which was the only place big enough for my power wheelchair, and turn around with my back to the door. Nunez, the vice chairman of the state's Council on Developmental Disabilities, recalled in an interview. Oh my God. But I'll give you an example, and this is why I say it's critical, whether it's with your family, whether it's in the nursing home, whether it's assisted living, or wherever you live. The other night we had it was maybe 2 months ago, our fire alarm went off, and, nothing was going on. For us, we didn't see anything, we didn't smell anything, so we just went about our business. And I just went in the wellness office and got my lower back patch on, and then, there was no direction, there was no information about what was going on. So I figured I would go in my room and wait for instructions. So I went into my room, and of course it's pretty noisy, but because I'm deaf, I take off my cochlear implants and I don't hear anything after that. So I just sat there waiting for instructions. So I was ready to go, and about an hour passed, And and finally the alarm was shut off. And about a few minutes later, one of the members ran in my room and said, "Where were you?" And I said, "Where was I? What? What happened?" So I was here the whole time. So just waiting. And she said, "We were all evacuated out of the assisted living." And I said, "Well, where did you all go?" And we're attached to a nursing home that provides us with some services. We're in collaboration. So we were instructed by the nursing home because they can see on their panel where the possible fire or problem is. So they saw that it was on our side, our assisted living, upstairs. And the fire department got there really quick and went upstairs, and they found somebody left a pot of beans on the stove, of red beans, and they walked away and forgot about it. Like that never happened here. and forgot about it. Of course, it was smoking, and it just burnt to a crisp. So the fire department took it off and, did what they needed to do and shut off the alarm. So everybody had been evacuated to the nursing home side over to the chapel area. And I was in my room just sitting there waiting. So the member, when she barged into my room and she was furious. And I said, "Well, somebody should have thought about, telling me we're all going to the chapel, go now. I can't use my walker because I would be very, very slow." And so we knew we had a problem right then and there. So because we have members with memory issues and we have members who have mobility issues, it was a big, big question as to how are we going to handle this when the next emergency comes along, because it's not about if, it's when, and that if, not the if, but the when is going to happen to any one of us, whether it's a mall, whether it's a grocery store, whether it's your own home, your assisted living, it could happen. So we had a serious meeting about all of this. And what we planned was, especially the weather, we've just changed we're going from spring into summer. And of course that triggers a lot of weather upheaval. So we not only have that, but, possible fires and what to do. So we got together as a community and the staff, and we did it at different levels. So we have a captain now. One of our members is called the captain. We have a captain on first floor. We have a captain on second floor. These two captains have walkie-talkies. They have a weather alert system in their room. And, even if the electricity goes out, they'll be able to talk to each other and coordinate that way. And the captain upstairs will make sure that the most vulnerable are moved, in the direction we need to go in. And the captain here on first floor will make sure that everybody is going in the right direction and make sure the most vulnerable are also moving in the right direction where we need to evacuate. So we had never planned it this way. It was just kind of up to the nursing home and the fire department to guess in terms of, but how are they going to know, And we had all kinds of different instructions throughout the months, like, oh, you just go in your room and you close the door, or you just stand out in the hallway. I was just laughing because I'm like, what? A fire starts and we're supposed to be out the hallway. What if the fire is in our hallway? So anyway, it got resolved, I think, to the best of our ability. And I had asked quite a few months ago to be moved down to first floor because it was ridiculous for me to be on second floor, because when you have an emergency or the lights go out or you have a fire, you can't use the elevator. Hello? So they finally moved me down to first floor, and they understood now. Now that we had a couple of incidents with bad weather and we had this almost a fire, now they understood why I really wanted to be on first floor, because you don't want to distract. Back then they told me, oh, the fire department will take care of you. Oh, I just knocked something on the floor, sorry. So, they say, oh, the fire department will take care of you. Well, if they don't know I exist and I'm in my room waiting, then what? So, and you really don't want to distract the fire department in them putting their resources into a particular person when they have all these other people they need to evacuate. So it needs to be as efficient as possible for the fire department to come in, take care of the emergency, and make sure that people are evacuated. And these captains that we've assigned now, makes it easier and more efficient, and it's a big help to the fire department. So we all get out, or in the middle of a tornado warning, that we all go at the right place at the right time. So, and that we're looking out for each other. Before, we had all kinds of people trying to lead and giving different instructions, and it was just a lovely chaos. So yes, the way this advocate spoke in this video was awesome. So I really recommend that you read the article and you think about it for your own personal needs, how to plan in a way that it is safe for your family, for your group, for wherever you're at. And if you're at a nursing home, just ask them, or an assisted living, what is the plan for me for an evacuation? So, and if it doesn't make sense, then say, I don't agree. And you just have to work on the details. So anyway, that was an important one. It's very well written, and I think it deserves attention by all of us. All right, so this is from the Guardian, Manawatu Guardian. And this article was written by, it doesn't have an author per se. So if I find it, I'll let you know. So this is Palmerston North engineers Claire Flemmer and Rory Flemmer, husband and wife, released their revolutionary wheelchair. Now, there's not a very good picture of the wheelchair, but it's basically a manual wheelchair that has electronics on the wheel, kind of like those e-assist manual wheelchairs that are out there, but the mechanisms on the wheel seem more complex. So let's read a little bit about what this husband and wife have been up to. Mr. and Mrs. Flemmer worked for nearly 4 decades to produce a wheelchair to enhance the lives of 1% of the world's population. The design of the revolutionary wheelchair, now called Octa Wheels, went through 23 prototypes and 37 years of research and development to become a world first in providing users a way to increase their daily activity. So Claire is a senior lecturer in building technology at Massey University with nearly 40 years of experience in industrial robotics and automation. She says all these years of work can solve part of the problem faced by wheelchair users. So wheelchair users need to exercise the same as the able-bodied people do, but it's often harder. Less than 15% of the wheelchair users get enough to benefit their health, and then you've got to consider their mental health. Getting out can be too difficult, which can make their world so much smaller. OctaWheels is designed to be their own gym and remove those obstacles for a more accessible life, she says. So the heart of our invention is that the chair captures the forward push to go forward and captures the backward pull to also go forward, creating twice the power. The user's hand never lets go, so all their efforts go into propulsion with no flailing at any speed. So you'd have to kind of take a look at the wheelchair. That is a long time to design this puppy. I wonder what the cost is going to be at the end. Hopefully they brought down the cost and the weight of this particular wheelchair, because that's one of our difficulties, is the weight. Octawheel users have said they are able to go more places where standard wheelchairs would struggle, and they can keep up with their friends and family. Octawheel goes 3 times faster than a standard wheelchair. So rather than having someone push them or go slower, we've had people excited they can go for a real walk alongside a companion. Rory says it would have been impossible to get to this point without external support and having a high level of confidence and optimism. Yeah, of course, because you're building something that no one else has built. So, you got to know where you're going with these things. With every pushback, we had to remember that people actually needed this product. We have robust souls, but we also had help to keep us going. Massey provided a wonderful supportive environment for research, and Callahan Innovation gave us 2 grants, without which we would be years behind where we are now. So there is a video showcasing, so I haven't seen that, but you can read the article in its entirety, as always. So there are new things happening for wheelchairs every month, every year, it seems. So that's why I have that series on Fridays, on Tech Fridays for wheelchairs. So this is one of those. I did not put it in for this Friday. I don't think there's a need. I think that if you take a look, and at the very bottom it has a link for their video to showcase the wheelchair. So that is it for news you can use. I'm hoping that all of you are well, and I will see you on the next Monday.